Good morning and good afternoon. Thank you for attending our webinar today on 4 things that damage your online credibility. Through the webinar, I'll be discussing several topics. This is recorded so that if you do miss anything or you would like to go back and watch it later, it will be sent out both in an email as well as posted on iMatrix's YouTube channel. Additionally, we'll have a question and answer set portion at the end of the webinar. However, if you have any pressing questions or comments, feel free to go ahead and type them in and I'll get to them as I'm able to. My name is Karen Willoughby. I am the Senior Account Executive for the Vision brand here at iMatrix. I've been with our company now about 2.5 years. Some of you may recognize me from previous webinars or from some of the events that we attend. We do attend all the major trade shows and state meetings. I think the biggest thing that I can say about this experience in this company is that we really do focus a lot of our attention on online reputation and online reputation management. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. This is obviously our office here at iMatrix. Hopefully you've all heard of us before. If not, welcome to the family. If you have any questions about the company, be sure to let me know. We are 15 years, almost 16 years old. We have over 10,000 clients. Now we're approaching over 1,200 to 1,300 in the eye care industry. We have a 94% retention rate, and I think the biggest thing to remember about us is that we are Google AdWords certified partners. That means that we're kept in the loop on the goings-on within Google's organization, the changes that they're making to the way that you're being found, and we're always in tune with what's going to improve our clients as well as our online web presence. So today, some of the things we're going to be talking about going back to online reputation. We're going to be talking about why online reviews are not created equal. We'll also be discussing the connection between social media and ranking highly. Next, we're going to talk about what to post on social media for the best results. And we're going to talk about why inconsistency could be killing your online marketing. So the first thing we're talking about is why online reviews are not created equal. So between 7 to 10 reviews, that's a really good number to focus on, to know that you have the trust of your users or Google users, potential patients in your in our field. The more reviews you have, the better. You need about 7 to 10 before people trust you. Think of it this way. If you go online and you notice that someone has 2 reviews, one has 5 stars and one has 0, what type of impression do you get of that business versus a business that has 9 with 5 stars and 1 with 0? They're going to have a little bit better standing, I think, within both your mind as well as the average number, the average rating that they do receive overall on Google. Now, where and when reviews are posted is also very important. If you get too many reviews in a short period of time, you could get dinged or have reviews removed or hidden. A rule of thumb is 1 to 2 reviews per week is going to be a really great number to pay attention to, or a really great number to strive for. That being said, requesting reviews from 5 to 6 patients per week, that could help you or should help you get to that 1 to 2 a week, because let's be honest, not everybody is going to fill it out immediately, or not 100% of your patients are going to remember that you are requesting those reviews. Also, while there are many review sites, the review function on Facebook and of course Google are favorites. We're going to talk more about Google in the next slide, but one thing to pay attention to is where you're posting those reviews. Like I said, Google and Facebook are going to have the highest impact on your ranking and your rating online. Now, who is reviewing you is also important. Some sites like Yelp, they give certain reviewers more influence than others. So getting a review on any site from an authority reviewer could actually help your search rankings. An authority reviewer is going to be somebody that has a history of reviews, is consistently reviewing other businesses, and has had a profile with that organization such as Yelp for quite some time. It also helps to have keywords in your reviews. So having patients that are going to talk about the services that you provide specifically, or the brands or products that you carry within your practice, that's actually going to help with the what. Some sites, they give you the ability to host longer reviews, and some have the ability to post shorter reviews. One thing that I would recommend is asking your patients to describe a service or a product that they received from you, because reviews that are going to have verbiage, have more verbiage, are going to be more powerful than a review that just has a rating or a star. So those places that allow patients or clients to leave comments or type reviews out, include verbiage, are going to be actually Facebook and Google, as well as Yelp. Those are the three main outlets that allow for more than just a star to be posted. So if we take anything away from this portion of the webinar, it's that too few or unbalanced, undiversified reviews can actually harm your credibility. So what I would recommend we do is we ask at least 3 to 5 patients per week to review you online. With that being said, you can count on getting 1 to 2 reviews, so that way you're not posting too few, but you're also not posting too many at once. B, I would coach your patients or allow your patients the ability to talk about specific services that you provide, as well as specific products or features within the practice. And I'd also direct patients to a specific online outlet, like I said, such as Facebook or Google+, which is going to be very important for the way that you rank. Now, speaking of Facebook, or speaking of social media, there's a vital connection between social media and ranking highly. Social links on your website, such as Facebook, Google+, and Twitter, those are going to be very important. Content that's shared via links across social media helps search engines understand how to rank your website for specific keyword phrases. So backlinking your site to those other entities online is going to be very important for your performance. The reason that it's important is because Google crawls social websites for data and links, and that are going to be placed within content and profiles. Websites that have these data and links placed in content within profiles are actually seen as more credible than websites that do not have links to other outlets online. Now, something that's also very important with your social media is content creation and distribution. Many social media platforms are offering more vessels for content creation and distribution than they ever have before. For example, we're able to create descriptions or business descriptions for Google business pages, or Google Plus pages we used to call those. We're also able to include optimized descriptions in your Facebook as well as your Twitter. This description is going to include facts about your business, services that you may provide, topics or symptoms that you treat. These are all going to be very important for the way that Google reads you and the way that your patients are finding you. Now, there are other platforms such as Periscope or Vine. Those are designed solely to function in concert with social media. Meaning, so for instance, Periscope or Vine, those will only interact with your social media platforms and cannot interact with your website alone. Therefore, it's very important to make sure that your website or your social media is linked to your website, and that your social media does include descriptions for your business outside of just those video outlets. Now, another thing to remember, and this is kind of new, is that social channels are also considered search engines now. Today, people treat social media platforms almost like they do search engines. For example, you may have seen the new search bar at the top of your Facebook in the past couple years. You can actually type into Facebook, friends who have liked an optometrist in my area, friends who have shared contact lens advice, or so forth. Facebook has become a search engine, as has Twitter. and of course Google+. Twitter actually gets more than 19 billion searches per month, and Facebook gets more than 1 billion per day. So keeping in mind that you should be optimizing the description and the content on your social media as well as linking that back to your website, this is going to have a really big impact on how you're ranking, and it's also going to have a big impact on your patient's interaction with you. Now, as far as an emphasis on Google+, especially when we're talking about your reputation, Google+ is not so much a social network as it is a social layer. And what it does is it links together all of Google products from Mail, Maps, YouTube, Search, and Apps. If you have a Gmail account, you're automatically given a Google+ account. So think about the power of reaching out to your email list of patients with a Gmail address and encouraging them to +1 you or like you, share you on Google+. Furthermore, comments about videos on Google-owned YouTube site can only be made from a Google+ account. So what that means is anyone who wants to make comments on your Google+ or your YouTube videos, they have to have a Google+ or Gmail account to make those comments. Same with, like I said, those reviews. So the good news for us is that most patients are actually able to find you on Google+. I just got a notification that you guys are not able to see me. Can anyone type in and confirm that you have not been able to see these slides? All right, what we're going to do, let me try this. I apologize for any. All right.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
And I apologize for the technical difficulty. It looks like we did get disconnected. So I'm going to continue if we are able to hear and see the webinar at this point. You should be able to both see and hear us. We did get connected a moment ago, so I apologize. To summarize what we were talking about in this slide right here, Google Plus is going to be a very important place for you to gather reviews. The most straightforward way that Google Plus impacts your search results is with personalization. So for example, if someone is following you on Google Plus, the chances that they will see your post in Google's search results go way up. Google actually provides search results based on a history of searches, things that you have liked, people that you follow, and things that you do share. So people that follow anyone who's following you, they're also going to be more likely to see your content for the same reasons. So the biggest takeaway for this topic is that failing to embrace and leverage a variety of social media sites or turning a blind eye to the power of Google Plus can actually damage your online credibility. Now the next slide, or the next thing I want to talk about is, what you should be posting on social media for the best results. There's an 80-20 rule. And one thing to keep in mind is that 80% of what you share on social media should be shareable, interesting, and not self-serving content. And then 20% should be about the brand or the practice. If you can entertain and inform your audience first, you then want to sell to them second. So posting things like memes, informational articles, videos and links that are going to be industry specific or specific to maybe a topic that is treated within your practice. 80% of your posts should be those types of posts. And then the other 20% should be personalized about your brand, your practice, or products that you do want to advertise with your social media. Another thing that I want to highlight is entertaining content. This is going to be very important for the types of likes and shares that we're looking for. It's also going to be important to increase interaction with your social media, which then will increase the likelihood of gathering reviews and increasing your reputation online. So offering a variety of content like quotes, news links, videos, photos, memes, charts, or interactive questions and polls, this is going to be very important. You want to make it interesting and shareable. So as far as talking about personal content, if you are following the 80-20 rule, each of your personal posts have to count because you have so few. So you want to make your posts work double duty by cross-promoting and linking your original content like videos from YouTube or blog posts to your website. So for example, posting on your social media about a certain topic and including a link to your website or your blog, that could be very important. For example, summer's very big for dry eyes treatment. So talking about a dry eye fact or sharing information about dry eyes on your social media and then linking that shared post to your website or to a blog that you've written about dry eyes is going to be very important for how you rank. You can also include information that benefits your audience. So maybe a discount that's specific to social media follows, a special offer, a useful statistic, anything like that is going to be important for increasing the engagement of your users. So I think the biggest takeaway for this topic is abusing the 80-20 rule and or not sharing a variety of content that can actually damage the likelihood that patients are going to interact with your social media and thus damage your online credibility because you do start to see a drop-off in followers or likes and shares. So that being said, another thing that can damage you is inconsistency. Google's going to recognize quality content posted on a regular basis and will reward your pages with a higher search results position. Why? Well, several reasons. Expert status is one of them. Consistent posting sets you up as an expert. Think of it as a marathon, not a sprint. So consistent posting on both your social media as well as interaction with a blog can be very important. Think of it this way. How often are you going to follow someone who's blogged maybe once or twice? However, if somebody is blogging on a weekly basis or a monthly basis with information that's specific to your practice or specific to the services that you're looking for as a patient, if we're thinking on that scale, you have a higher likelihood to follow them or to interact with that blog or also with that social media. So posting regularly is going to be very important. Regular posting for social media, Google recommends that you update your social media between 5 and 10 times a week between all of your outlets. And we also recommend that you update a blog at least once a month. So another reason that Google is going to reward you for posting content on a regular basis is because it's new and improved. Google's always looking for what's new, what's more relevant than the last. So new content signals that the page is new and improved, and it also gives search engine spiders a reason to crawl and index the site. Google spiders are crawling more often than ever before. They're actually crawling sites between 1 to 2 times a month now, and as frequently as once a week. So updating your content regularly between content on the website, between blogs, or even content on other social media outlets or outlets such as press releases that are linked back to your website are going to have a huge impact on the way that Google is interacting with your site and the way that you're indexed. So another reason that you want to be consistent with the content that you're posting is the more content you have, the better chances you have of ranking. More content means searchers have a better chance that they will find what they are looking for on your pages. So think of it this way. If you have just one article about eye exams versus an article about eye exams, an article about dry eyes, contact lenses, contact lens fittings, an article about glaucoma, an article about diabetes, these are all likelihoods that you're going to capture somebody who's searching a specific topic versus someone who's just searching for eye exam, optometrist, or eye doctor. And then another reason is for long-term relationships. From your perspective, patient's point of view, they want to connect with someone that they can count on to bring them the best, most up-to-date info. So on and off relationships fail to gain momentum and will exhaust your efforts. You want to be consistent just as you are consistent in treating those patients and getting them back into your practice regularly. So be consistent and steady to make sure that your efforts are in it for the long haul. So the biggest thing to remember here is inconsistency can hurt your relationship both with search engines and with online visitors. So I want to go back through and highlight the points that we've touched on since we were having some technical difficulties. So the first thing we talked about is why online reviews are not created equal. So that being said, the biggest thing to remember is that too few or unbalanced, undiversified reviews can harm your online credibility. So you want to have between 7 to 10 reviews before people can start to trust you. And you don't want them to be posted too frequently or by unqualified users, meaning you want to ask between, I said, 3 to 5 patients a week to review you with the likelihood that you'll receive at least 1 review per week. You also want to ask people to review you on credible sites. We do recommend Google+, because Google likes what people like. People like social media, but Google also has a tendency to play favorites, and Google+ is its own version of social media. So the next thing we talked about was the vital connection between social media and ranking. The biggest thing to remember here is that failing to embrace and leverage a variety of social media sites or turning a blind eye to the power of Google+ can actually damage your online credibility. So I want to go through a couple of things here because this is where we started to have technical difficulties. Content creation and distribution is very important. So you actually want to create content that's specific to the practice, specific to the services you provide, and you want to make sure that it's distributed between multiple platforms. We recommend Facebook, Google+, and Twitter as the top 3 social media platforms. And if you are using things like Periscope or Vine, as well as YouTube, you want to make sure that they're connected properly to both your social media outlets as well as connecting that social media back to your website, because backlinking is very important for the way that Google sees you and the way that Google ranks you. So creating links between your site and other social media outlets is going to be important, as is placing an emphasis on Google+. Now, as far as the content, you want the content to be specific to your practice. Like I said, you want it to be specific to services that you provide. And in just a moment, I'm going to highlight some of the things that's going to give you the best results as far as searching on or posting on social media. But some other things to remember is that social media channels also do act as a search engine. So this is very important to remember when you're typing out the content or you're including something like an optimized description for your Google Plus or your Twitter, as well as for your Facebook. So going back to the things that you can be posting on social media for the best results, let's remember that 80-20 rule. 80% of what you share should be interesting articles, facts, links, videos, and so forth. And then 20% should be specific to your practice and the goals that you're trying to achieve within your marketing. So things like sales or products, as well as goings on within the practice, like a trunk show, for example. Keep that to about 20%, but make that 20% count. And then finally, one thing I can't highlight enough is being consistent. Consistency really is the key to having a long-term relationship, as well as achieving your goals and performing well on the Google search indexes. So at this point, one thing I'd like to highlight is that we are offering free evaluations of your website as well as your online reputation and your social media. And another thing is that we do have some offers going on. So let's say that you find a little bit of this information overwhelming, or you'd like some help with your social media creation, the content on your website, or even your blogging. We have an exclusive attendee offer for anyone that has attended this webinar. Now at this point I would like to open up the floor to any questions that you have regarding social media, regarding content creation, or anything that we've discussed today and beyond. So I have a great question here. And this question is actually, how often should I post to social media to ensure that Google is seeing me? So it's good that you are recognizing that Google indexes social media as well as the website. Now, one way to ensure your ranking will be making sure that you do have that, that link between your social media as well as your website. And to answer your question directly, updating, like I said, between 5 to 10 times a week between all outlets is what Google recommends. What we do focus on here is 2 posts a week to Facebook, 2 to Twitter, and 1 to Google+. We hit that 5 for you. And then remembering that 80-20 rule, if you post 1 to 2 times on your own, that can help achieve that between 5 and 10 number. So the next question is, when should I be posting to social media? And that's a great question. One thing that you can do is pay attention to the traffic patterns on both social media, on both Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, to ensure that you are achieving those social media goals. We post on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays between Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. So my next question says, I already have content on my website regularly, so what's the point of writing a blog? And that's a great question. A blog's not only a piece of content that's posted onto your website, it's also something that's followable and interactive between users or people that might be following you. It's also its own entity. So the great thing about a blog is it's neither social media nor part of your website. It stands on its own. Although through those connections and those backlinks, it's going to increase the way that Google sees you just by increasing the visibility that you have between all outlets. Google also recognizes a blog as new and fresh content. And once again, people love blogging. Think about all the blogs that you're seeing regularly for you Pinterest users, or maybe even for you fashion followers. I know we have a lot of opticians that attend our webinars. Blogging about trends is going to be really important. If you aren't already following anybody, I'm sure that if you go out there and look, there's going to be tons that interest you. And we do recommend that our practices start blogging both about the medical side as well as the fashion side of their practice. All right, do we have any more questions at this point? All right, so if we don't have any more questions, oh wait, I actually do have another one. So someone is asking if we are U.S. based, and we are. If you were late to join the game, we are located here in San Diego, and everything that we do is in-house. The second part of this question asks if we have specific content designed or tailored to Canadian clients. And actually we have a large number of Canadian clients, and all of our Canadian clients tend to rank pretty highly because Google is pretty consistent between the two countries. Google is more focused on content in both countries as well as social media. So to answer your question, we don't have anything specific to Canadian clients, so to speak. However, we have a lot of Canadian clients that are ranking pretty well, if not higher than our U.S. clients based on performance, due to the fact that we're a little more unique than other companies that you might see in Canada. Right, I'm going to leave it open for one more minute just in case we have any other questions. And once again, this webinar has been recorded, so if any of you were here when the call did drop, you can always go back and connect to our YouTube channel. I believe it will also send out an email with a link to that channel or a link to watch the webinar, the recorded version. Once we have finished, that link will go out within about 24 to 48 hours typically. And then, like I said, if you have any questions, you can always reach us at 877-739-5442. I want to thank you all and wish you a great afternoon.